السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
فلله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض ورب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العرش الكريم. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا. I should like to say I have a mixed feelings. Don't forget I am an emotional person, specializing in emotionality and psychological work. Therefore, you will have to understand the fact that fear, hope and fear borders on emotions. Emotions are emanating from cognitive processes. On this note, allow me to say Mr. Jones, the professor and former council chair, Lagos State University, where I was privileged to earn my first degree. I thank you very much. By that same extension, I have the honor of Professor Mrs. Simi of Obafemi University, who chatted me and said I should acknowledge, which I have done privately, and I told her I would do publicly, that a very hardworking and good administrator as chairman council. Alhamdulillah. So I thank you, sir, and please relate to her that I did publicly. One thing about life, you never can tell. It is a small world after all. And it is only those who can understand the construct and concept of hope that will come to terms and realization that nothing is going to be in vain. I want to thank Dr. Shola for this opportunity. I'm not going to say it's sudden, that the circumstance is real. Even the execution of our presence here was bordering on fear and hope. And alhamdulillah that our hope was more and is more than our fears. And that is why in the Quran, Allah has said, anybody who stands with him, he will suffice him. In other words, even the Yoruba cultural setting have sufficient understanding that it will be tough. In Paka, Laumi is the tortoise with hard shell, bordering it. But by the time that it's ready to move, it will stick out its head and the movement begins. Mr. Chairman, sir, through you, I want to acknowledge to the President. Sir, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I have served under Star Sada as Assistant Secretary when he was Secretary. And it was a joyful time. Thank you, sir. And before I get to our colleagues in the Shooting Star, I would like to thank our female counterparts, our mothers, wives, sisters who are present here, and those who will be online. We are indeed very grateful that this is coming, although the person who is designated, I don't want to flog that so that we will not be raising our fear level. Let us raise our hope level. Okay? So we hope that everything is going to fall right. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So don't worry. Be happy. Everything is going to be all right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Having said all this, I recognize all members of the shooting stars and their guests, students of Ansawadi University High School, you are recognized, Ansawadi High School, Ansawadi Grammar School, Up School! I am privileged to have attended this school. I have stood there as a student imam prefect. So I was highly moved by the recitation of the young Dean grammarian that came out there. Allah accept that as part of the bar. And I think my brother here too attended the school. Please give to the boys at the back. Alhamdulillah, thank you. Having said all this, I want to appeal that as we were coming here, each and every one of us has a mind. Let me borrow the word of the chair, the mindset. Hope and fear in the first one. What is going to happen? But being that as it may, that will be what the psychologist will refer to as a learned behavior, or what educationists will consider as learner readiness, having gotten an idea, a concept. But let me allow us to now understand that as far as that is concerned, yes. But as we are here, let us take one thing away, which is going to help in either debunking or adding value to our previous knowledge, which is going to be like unlearning. That means moving us away a little, just as the educationists will describe education as a relative change in behavior. And change in behavior starts from change in thinking, what psychologists will call cognitive restructuring to a web. Yoruba psychophilosophy will say tobacco wájú sí ẹ ta, tobacco ẹ̀ sí ẹ ta, tobacco wọ nìkan tó èrò ayẹyẹ ẹ pa. And that is where the role of the clinician or clinical psychologist come in. A lot of us, indeed, everybody at one phase of life or the other would have an element of fear. Even as nations, Nigeria, a classic one, during the Emefiele saga, was the election going to hold? Was Nigeria going to crash? The fear was like choking. And except those who remain hopeful and were sharing hope with one another. And that takes me to Allah Azza wa Jalla reassuring us, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, wal asri, innal insana lafi khusri, illa allazina amanu. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And in another way, Allah has said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. In all of this, wherever you hear in Quran that you have inna, that is coming surely, undoubtedly. And the Surah Al-Asr was embedded with fear and hope. It reads, by the evening, by the noon, certainly man, as in generic terms, man and woman or all human beings, if you read the tafsir, you get there, are in a state of loss. Any businessman who is hearing loss, is he or she going to be happy? No. So that is shocking. Fear is stealing. Yet Allah will come with that and with hope. And that is where you have Ila, except those who believe. and do good works and enjoin one another to do good works. Those are those who will not be permanently in a state of fear and loss. Before I go further, I want to appeal that in the process of this presentation, please be careful not to just be minding my lips and the flow. Otherwise, you'll be guilty of sort of gone, and you won't be able to pick one thing. So it will be sufficient that you take your own and run. And don't tell anybody to stop making noise. But don't worry. Are we together? But we do know that as fear is stealing, as fire can be, am I talking to someone? And we do know that ìrírí ayé kìí ṣe ní títí, ó dẹ̀ kúkú ṣe nípa ọgbọ́n ló fi ń kọ́ ni. Àwọn bàbá wa have said kí ló ń bọ̀ lókè tí ló wà. Something will definitely come from okay. But if you are steady, if you are firm, if you are focused, you will soon see that life is in motion and it's dynamic. And so, sometime when we are now related to the dead, and we moved at our presence, and even Proverbs said, thank you. All I am saying here, I should like us to take note, and for record purposes, I take responsibility. It is not the view of Shooting Star of Islam or joint views of anyone of us within the Shooting Star or by extension. So let us note that we are going to learn, we will unlearn, and we will relearn. I have come to give you fear. But your fear is going to be lesser than your hope. In other words, I have brought lorry load of hope and maybe a small pulse-like quantum of fear. But let me reassure you, a part of this fear, nobody will get through this life without fear and hope. To the students, text and exam, the psychologists recognize examination anxiety as very debilitating to the students. If you want to know, you can go and conduct your survey in university clinics during exams, casualty or requited, and come to think of it, they will do all known tests. They won't be able to find anything unless they refer to the psychology unit or the counseling unit, as it were. Then you now see school fees not yet paid, so no clearance. Drop money not landing, you know, and so on and so on. So these are issues that you are considered. Even those who are in government that we are perceiving that they are comfortable, are àròrò adìẹ tiwa náà. But in all of this, if we are true to self or true to ourselves, because Allah who al-haqqu, ọba tí ò sí di òjòrò ni, ọba tí ò tán èèyàn kankan, ọba tí ò fi gbá kankan nú ni, and it's very firm, kò lè gbin àlùbọ́sà kò wẹ̀fọ́. But in all of this, Allah is something because we are close to Him, we need to level, and that is where the fear comes in. Who are you going to look like? Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Musa alayhi salam, or Ibrahim that was thrown into the furnace, but for who? I hope this fire will not burn. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam going through uncharted paths to Medina, Makkah Medina, is that correct? Now, when it is even charted, and to worry people, to want to love. Ejò ṣe wà bí ejò wà lẹ́lúyà, a máa ń ra àwọn ọmọ ọmọ yàtọ̀ síra àwọn olólùrú ejò. I have come to present a realistic discourse, not academic presentation. That is why I am meeting us at this level. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that you can have hope. That you can't have hope without fear. But you can have fear without hope. And that is what is classic of the common psychopathology diagnosis that is commonplace with us in Nigeria: depression, and suicide. It is when an individual has gone through what is cognitive distortion or crooked thinking, whilst both giving Yoruba psycho-community will say, "Ọgbọ́n tó láyé, àwọn ọ̀sọ́run." And èèyàn kì í kú láláì jẹ́ pé ojú ìrètí nù. Nobody is going to die without first becoming hopeless. Bí mo kú o, mo gbé, mo dáràn, ó ti tán. And there is a common sing song that fella there, kò ní kú tó bá fẹ́ kú. So if you are scared with death, you may not have to die. Shall we have the deer, the hunter, and the lion? Let's watch and let's listen. You can put the microphone to it.
Once upon a time, a deer was pregnant and she was having labor pains. It was evening time. The forest was covered with black clouds. Due to the black clouds, lightning had fallen in the forest and the forest had caught fire. The deer had to leave her house due to fire. She came to a riverside to give birth and drink some water. She saw her face in the river. Anxiety was visibly on her face because her house was on fire and she had to give birth, just as she was going to drink the water. She heard noise of some movement in the bushes on her left side. She looked to her left and saw a hunter was aiming at her with an arrow. She was already very nervous and was now even more afraid when she saw the hunter. The deer thought in her mind to run away from there. As she turned to run away to her right side, she saw that a ferocious lion was hiding in the bushes in her right side, and the lion was ready to attack her. The deer looked all around. There was a hunter on one side, the lion on the other side, the forest fire on the third side, and the deep river on the fourth side. The deer could not cross the river because it was very deep and full of crocodiles. Death was all around her. There was no way to escape. The deer thought hard to save her life, but there was no way out. Then the deer thought to herself that her death is so certain, so why be afraid? Why not die with dignity? The deer calmed down. She started drinking water fearlessly and started hoping for the best. Seeing her drinking water, the hunter drew his arrow, and as he was about to release his arrow, there was a strong lightning sound in the sky. The hunter's hands trembled due to the strong lightning, and he missed his target. His arrow hit the lion, and the lion got injured, and his eyes fell on the hunter. The lion started running towards him, and the hunter started running to save his life. With the lightning, it started raining heavily, and the forest fire was extinguished. After drinking water, she saw that there is neither a hunter nor a lion, and the forest fire has also been extinguished. The deer did not waste any time and run away from there. She went to a safe place and gave birth to 3 fawns. There are times in our life when we are surrounded by difficulties from all sides, and we don't see any way out. But one should never lose courage in such times. No matter how much problems come in your life, never be afraid of it. Instead, face problem openly and think positively. Because once you face problems with courage and think positively, then you have hope. And once you have hope, anything is possible. If you find value in this story, please like, share, and comment below. Stay blessed.
Because it is through hope that faith exists, giving us the ability to see the evidence of things not seen. We need to understand that we should anchor our hope onto Allah, because in doing so, we become more steadfast, firm, and secure, especially in moments of challenge, when the evidence of things not seen seem to be far-fetched. You can look at Quran chapter 2, verse 177 to reinforce that. You will see that Allah has not said prayers or salat alone will do the magic. You will have to go extra mile. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب. Hope is a source of positive energy that motivates you to keep going and allow one to face challenges more easily. Because with hope, one is prepared to understand that challenges are not permanent. No condition is, even the post of permanent secretary is not permanent. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond to what is happening to us or happening around us. In other words, if you have hope, it gives you control that what else? And in psychology, once you have a mind of doing anything or achieving or setting a goal, the tendency of other paraphernalia or assistance or realities of the world that will support you to come to realization of that will just be filtering. That is what you will be seeing. Just like the Bible will say, however, most of us, we too like spoon feeding. We want everything to be set and super ready. Even the structure that we are in, it has been built blocks upon blocks, just as engineer Ashik will let us know later. I recognize your presence, sir. Brothers and sisters in Islam, let's learn from this universal philosophy. Killing people, changing one, to tí ò bá dẹ̀ ní parí jẹ kó má ṣe parí jẹ kó yẹ kó mọ̀ ọ̀hún. That implies to our younger members of the audience, it instills courage. What is there in the jungle that is doing kurukere? I'm sure you understand kurukere. Do you understand kurukere? That is ruffling the bush, that is making the individual to be afraid, that is instilling fear. Hey, come out, let's see what's going to happen. We are going to kill, come and kill, and let's have some peace. Otherwise, keep quiet and let's carry on. This is the way to go with life. Exams, fears are for man at every stage of life. When a woman is pregnant, or but even at the point of delivery, that is the way to go, because more often than not, so that is my way. So I have described hope as light and fear as darkness. Hope as the day and fear like the night. Hope like life and fear like death. Hope like wealth and fear like poverty. Hope like knowledge and fear like ignorance. Hope is like seeing or being sighted, and fear is like being unsighted. Hope is strengthening, and fear is debilitating. For the concept of fear in Islam, you can see where the Quran has said, verily, on the friends of Allah, there is not fear nor grief, and a great reality of the world we live in. So much so that it cannot be disentangled from the idea of life itself. Whenever there is life, there will be fear. Say to somebody, whenever there is life, there will be fear. But don't lose hope. Tell somebody, don't lose hope. When there is life, there is hope. Are we together? Fear is not only the basis of physical suffering in this world, but an underlying cause or result of a variety of different psychological disorders. Due to this reason, psychology has addressed the notion, an idea of fear extensively. Fear in psychology can mean anything from physiological and emotional arousal in the face of real danger to an unplaced feeling of dread due to perceived or impending danger. And look at it from this angle. Some people are afraid for nothing. We call that trait anxiety disorder. I tell you, meanwhile, there is another counterpart that is trait anxiety concerns. Example, life of anxiety, no matter how big they are, but the level will be detonated with high hope. When you know, actually, I have fulfilled all righteousness. The only way to go is, let us know where we're going. If we study human behavior, reactions, and psychological illnesses closely, we will find fear to be the underlying root cause of all negativity. And like I said earlier, we say anybody that will be sick, that wants to get well, that won't get well. I can raise my head and challenge everybody to that extent. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for the doctors or those who will be attending to the sick, when they say hopeless, I'm sure you know what that is. Or those who are above 40 can understand what that is. May God never throw us into the state of hopelessness. Shall we have the 4th of 8 candles? Thank you. You can have a copy of You Can Do It if even others say you can't, by convincing, be very close to Quran, and if all fails, consult your psychologist.
That is